particular time instant t1, and we look for these values here, all the outcomes. It is what we call it as across the random process. These values, can be viewed as the outcome of the random variable. We converted the random process, we hunted, right, random variable from the random process, and then I can do whatever I can do it for the random variable. I can take expectation, I can find out the variance, whatever the moments you want I can find out. I can describe the density function, I can define what? The distribution function, and so on, right? So that is what the technique. We tap across the process and we get what we call it as xt1 here, x subscript t1, indicating that it is a random variable. We tap again one more, right, some other point here, this point. So this is the t2 here, and we get this outcome like this, and these outcomes we have here x subscript t2, they are all the random variables. I can take so many random variables here, again there is a problem, right? So we have what? Many random variables in that. So how to deal with that is again a question mark, right? So we need to go for some class of random process. We have to assume some property. It starts with strictly stationary random process. Strictly stationary random process means wherever you tap and you get a random variable, and these distributions are going to be the same. The distribution function associated with this xt1 and then xt2, xt3, wherever you tap, if they are identical, we call that as what? The strictly stationary random process. That is very hard to even notice or even to prove, right? So we have the relaxed one, we call that as wide sense stationary random process, WSS. In case of this wide sense stationary random process, right, process is said to be this WSS if it satisfies this property. Expectation of xt is constant. Remember that the moment I take here this expectation, I am taking expectation for the random variable. That is very important. We cannot take expectation for the complete random process, that is not correct, right? This xt what I use here is a random variable obtained from the random process. We have a random process, you tap across the random process at one particular time instant t, we get a random variable. For that we can take what? The expectation, right? Because once you get the random variable, it means that its density function is defined, its distribution function is defined, then I can find out what is that expectation over it, right? So that is what expectation of xt. And if I have expectation of xt plus tau xt, we tap at two different time instant, right? So let us take this as t here and another point here as t plus tau. This is xt here and this is xt plus tau. Xt is a random variable obtained from the random process, tapped across the process at the time instant t. Xt plus tau is the random process obtained from the random process, tapped across the process at the time instant t plus tau. You have to understand that this xt and this xt plus tau, they are not random process by itself. They are all the random variables obtained from the random process. That is the most important thing to understand, right? Because when I want to take this expectation, it should be the random variable, expectation of xt plus tau, xt, if it happens to be the function of tau alone. I am writing that as Rx of tau, indicating that it is autocorrelation. If it happens to be the function of tau, means it depends only on the difference in the time instance where you tap, right? Instead of the exact time, right? We are not interested on the time where you tap. It depends on the difference in the time instant. If it is obeying, we call that as wide sense stationary random process. Most of the signal what we deal, for even for the speech signal, right? We assume that it is wide sense stationary random process. But remember that not for the long duration. That's very important. We have to see to the signal, the output of speech signal, for example, in few milliseconds, right? 20 milliseconds or 30 milliseconds. So 30 milliseconds data, if you arrange them like this, and if you see the characteristics, that characteristics are going to be almost the same. And that we are assuming that it is wide sense stationary random process. After that it will vary, and this seconds depends upon the type of signal. If it is EEG, is a group of signal. See, you are able to notice the moment I plot the ECG, you are able to locate it. It is the ECG signal. It is not going to be same for every person, right? But still we are saying that it is the ECG signal. That is that characteristics. It has its own characteristics. EEG, for example, it is having, the moment you see that, we are able to understand that. And if I see that speech, we will see how it actually looks like, quasi-periodic. Just by viewing the signal, the plot, we are able to say what signal it is, isn't it? So it means that it is having its own characteristics. It is not, the same signal what you are having. You are collecting the speech signals from different, people, but the characteristics remains the same. It is not a deterministic signal, but the characteristics remains the same. In fact, for the short duration, we can actually assuming that is a wide sense stationary random process, and we are doing that analysis, right? So now let us assume that we have a linear system and we have a random process xt as the input, and we have the output random process yt. It is different from the deterministic signal. That's very important. Deterministic signal, normally I write it as x of t, right? Here the subscript indicate that it is a random process. It is not a single signal. It is a group of signal. Xt is a random process that is given as an input to the system, and I have chosen this system as a linear system. Time invariant that I have not considered. I am considering only the linearity property. It is a linear system, right? So if that is the case, how this output random process and then input random process are related? If you are given the impulse response of this, is a linear system described by this impulse response, right? So we write it as I am writing this yt equal to, I am actually, it is not like what you write it for the deterministic signal, the convolution of the input signal with what, the impulse response, right? But here we are relating the random variables. That is very important, right? This xt is a random process. Here it is a random process. The moment I write in this expression, this xt plus tau there actually is a random variable. The same notation, but you have to interpret is the place where you are talking about. The group of signal is what we call as a random process. Here xt is a random process. But in this expression, this xt minus tau or this yt, they are all the random variables obtained from the random process tapped across the process at that particular time instant. T minus tau means you have to tap the random process at the time instant t minus tau, and that is a random variable. Here the relationship is between what? The random variables. That is most important. They are relating the random variables. So I have written here as MSS, mean square sense. We already know that we have discussed in what sense it is getting converged, right? So it's like that. We say that these two random variables are related like this. That is the meaning of it, right? So now what I am going to do here is I am going to compute the autocorrelation okay. First let me do step by step. First let me compute R y x of tau, then we will discuss about this R y of tau. So this is the interesting result what we are getting. Actually we are actually computing this R y x of tau, right? So y is, R y x of tau, it is talking about two random processes, one from the output, another is from the input, and tapped across the process at t plus tau, here y t plus tau and x t, right? And this y t plus tau I am writing from this here, instead of tau in this expression I am writing it as tau 2 because this tau is already there, right? So I just replace this tau with tau 2, h tau 2, t minus tau 2 is there. In place of t I want to replace with what? T plus tau here. So t plus tau minus tau 2, and this, this xt I have kept as this. And then bringing this expectation inside this integration, we get what? Expectation of xt plus tau minus tau 2 xt, and we know that xt are assumed as Whiteson stationary random process, WSS. So in that case this can be written as what? Rx of tau minus tau 2, and this expression if you see, it gives you an interesting result that Rx of tau convolved with h of tau, and this relationship is in deterministic relationship. Rx of tau is a deterministic one, xt is random, but the autocorrelation, the moment you compute this autocorrelation, that is a deterministic one, right? So Rx of tau, the autocorrelation of the input getting convolved with the impulse response h of tau to get Ryx of tau, not Ry of tau, right? Ryx of tau. So what is it Ry of tau? That we will see now. this I wanted to do by comparing two results. Here okay, so let me compute r yx of tau convolved with h of minus tau, right, and here let me compute this r y of tau. Right, this one is expectation of y t plus tau y t, right. So you have two integration here. One is I used minus tau 1 tau 1, and second case you have this, right. So this is what exactly you have expressed. Right. I use tau 1 here and here tau 2, and in place of t it is t plus tau in this, here t as it is, right. That is what we have. Now coming to this, let us assume in this, or consider that g of tau as h of minus tau. So we have this so this is convolution of r y x of tau convolved with what, g of tau, right. So if I want to do that, I am introducing tau 1 in this, g of tau 1 r y x of tau minus tau 1 d tau 1, that is what you have. And we already know what is r y x of tau. We had an expression there, right, or we can write the other way around also. We will write it as r y x of tau here, and g of tau minus tau 1 d tau 1, both are same only. We will consider this because I want to replace this r y x of tau with this convolution. So this is convolution here, r y x of tau, what, r x of tau convolved with h of tau there. So here I am going to use, okay, h tau 2 r x of tau minus tau 2, and then this g of, this is d tau 2 will come, and this g of tau minus tau 1 d tau 1. I want you to compare this a and b. See this expression, right. Here, so in place of this g of tau here, right, we already had here as g of tau as h of minus tau. I will finally replace this g of tau with what, h of minus tau, and for the consistent let me use everywhere the subscript but you have to understand that this impulse response are not random, right? So here I have used the subscript here, does not mean that it is a random, right? This is the deterministic. In fact, I should have written this within the parenthesis here, right? So we will stick with that subscript everywhere, right? In that case, what I want to do here is I just want to replace this, the final thing here, as the subscript tau minus tau 1. I mean, this is just the representation, and remember that G's H, they are the deterministic, that you always keep in mind, right? So, or you can even put it as a parenthesis. For consistent means I have to put here also parenthesis, here also what? The parenthesis. You stick with that, okay? So because as I have written here with the subscript, I just wanted here also to be with subscript just to compare it, right? So now it is in your hand, you do it, change of random variable, right? You replace, because okay, so this is simply what? H double integral h tau 1 and h tau 2. I take this expectation inside this, expectation of t plus tau minus tau 1 x t minus tau 2 t tau 1 tau 2. So you get this integral. This is Rx of, this is again assumed as what? Whiteson stationary random process. So t plus tau minus tau 1 minus t plus tau 2, t gets cancelled, you get tau minus tau 1 plus tau 2. I hope this is, because t plus tau minus tau 1 minus t gets cancelled, plus tau 2 will come. So tau minus tau 1 plus tau 2, that is fine. Now you compare, this is what I want you to compare, this is A here and this is B, because here also I am getting this Rx, right? Here also the terms are in terms of Rx. I can compare these two, right? And this tau minus tau 1, you consider that as one variable which is not used here, I mean call it as u, and do this change of random variable and compare this one with this. What is that you get? For example, let us consider tau minus tau 1, because I need this to be positive, this is also tau 1 and this is tau 2 here. So I replace this one now G as what? H tau 1 minus tau in this. Earlier it is tau minus tau 1, am I right? Right? So this is tau 1 minus tau, and then let me call this is tau 1 minus tau as u. Then you simply do this change of random variable, and in place of this tau is replaced with what? Tau 1 minus u here. So it is like tau 1 minus u, right? Isn't it? Is it fine? Okay. So now you do this change of random variable, tau 1 minus tau, you make it as u here, right? This will come as u between minus infinity plus infinity. So again after changing the random, I mean changing that limits, again ends up with what? The same minus infinity to plus infinity. Only this is going to change, right? And I am not going to disturb this tau 2. I wanted to change this tau 1 only, right? So this one, what will happen for this? Tau minus tau 1 plus tau 2, right? So what is that you get here? This is simply u, right? What I am doing here is this one I am replacing with u, right? And change of random variable, tau 1 is dou u. This I am replacing with what? Dou u here, limit, and this one what will happen? Tau 1 minus u minus tau 2, isn't it? Correct me if I am doing some minus u minus tau 2, right? Pardon? Where? Rx of? Okay, this is tau 1 here. Yeah, that is right. So this is tau 1 here, isn't it? Okay, that is the thing. So tau 1 is what? Tau plus u, right? Okay, that's what I am wondering. Thank you. Right, that is right. So what is that? Tau 1 is tau plus u, right? So tau plus u minus tau 2. Yeah, now it is right. Now it is right. Now I can compare these two expressions, this a and b, right? So they are going to be identical. This expression and this b expression, they are going to be equal. So that is what I want. The idea is we get another important result as Ry of tau is Rx of tau convolved with h of tau convolved with h of minus tau. This is that expression, because you see here this is Ry of tau, that is equal to what? Ryx of tau convolved with h of minus tau. Ryx of tau is simply what? Rx of tau convolved with h of tau. So Rx of tau convolved with h of tau convolved with what? H of minus tau, that will be your Ry of tau. These two results are important. So they are relating the autocorrelation function of what? The input and the output, right? And we have the information in frequency domain just by taking what? The Fourier transformation of that, isn't it? If I take the Fourier transformation on both sides, you get, for this case, you get Sy of f is Sx of f, h of f, h conjugate of f, and this Sy x of f is simply Sx of f into what? H of f. And we can write it as Sy of f as h of f, the magnitude square is a. So this is very important. Sy of f is simply what? H of f, the magnitude square, Sx of f. They are relating the spectral density. The Fourier transformation of what? The autocorrelation is the spectral density, right? That's what I have taken here. So this is that Fourier transformation. I can take Fourier transformation for the autocorrelation. I cannot take the Fourier transform for the random process. That is not deterministic, that is random. There is nothing like the Fourier transformation of the random process xt. No. You have to convert them into what? The deterministic. That we have done. We get the deterministic function called autocorrelation function, and then as that autocorrelation function is deterministic, I can take what? The Fourier transformation of it, right? And that is more important, this spectral density, because to find out this bandwidth, if it is a deterministic signal, there is no problem, right? I can take what? The Fourier transform, I can find out what is the bandwidth. But if I am asking you the question, what is the bandwidth requirement for FSK? What is the bandwidth requirement for MSK, QPSK? Right? So that is not, it is not deterministic, because the binary stream, what we use it for transmission, it vary. Every time it is going to be a different outcome. But still I wanted to know what is the bandwidth. I need to do some estimation over it. Isn't it? I need to find out what is the bandwidth occupied by the group of signal, not the particular signal. You understand? So that is actually obtained by using what? The spectral density. Right? So if I know the plot of spectral density, I can understand what is the bandwidth the random process is actually getting occupied. Right? So that is most important for some observation here. For example, suppose I have Rx of tau, we know that it is going to be that inverse Fourier transformation of the spectral density and if I substitute this with 0 here, this will end up with 1. What it is giving you? The area under the spectral density is giving you that what? Rx of 0. What is Rx of 0 basically? It is nothing but expectation of xt plus tau xt. When tau is 0, this is becoming what? Expectation of xt square. It is actually giving you what? Expectation of xt square, which we consider as the power. In telecommunication, we say that it is a power. So average power expectation we are using, isn't it? So area under the curve of the spectral density is actually giving you what? The average power. Right? For instance, if I have a noise, white noise, and whose spectral density is constant, this is that white noise. The spectral density of this white noise. By this time I must tell you that this white noise is having these characteristics, right? It is flat. The spectral density is flat. Means its autocorrelation is what? The impulse. Rn of tau, if I plot, it is going to be that impulse. This is F here. In telecommunication, again in the receiver section, if it is, you use the filter before doing demodulation and all, right? We allow only the particular bandwidth. Suppose that if I am allowing a particular bandwidth here, starts with what? Minus W by 2 plus W by 2. Right? So what is that noise power? Noise power is simply the area under this, which is W into N0 by 2, or let me take here. So it is 2W into N0 by 2. So it is N0 W, that is that average power. So if the bandwidth of the system in the receiver section, it is allowing to this bandwidth of the maximum frequency as W, then we can understand what is that average noise power. It is simply N0 W. If this constant is N0 by 2, it is N0 W, it is just a constant. I consider that N0 by 2 just to cancel 2, right? Nothing more than that. To say that it is N0 W, right? Some constant times W, I am using that it is N0. This is that white noise. Again, by this time you must know that white noise is different. Gaussian noise is different. Right? You can have white noise that is non-Gaussian also. You can have Gaussian that is not white also. Right? It can be the other way around. The moment you say white doesn't mean that it is Gaussian. The moment you say that it is Gaussian doesn't mean that it is white. They are the different thing. We can even have a combined white Gaussian noise. That is also possible. It can be white, it can be Gaussian. But what is Gaussian noise? What is mean by Gaussian noise? It means that I already told that you got a random variable from the random process. We have a signal and you tap across the process and we get a random variable over it. And if that random variable follows Gaussian distributed, we call that as what? Gaussian noise. Whatever you take, xt or xt plus tau, xt3, whatever, wherever you tap, those random variables are Gaussian. If it happens to be the Gaussian, we call it as Gaussian noise. You can even form a random vector from the random process, isn't it? So I can tap at some time duration, I mean t1, then t2, then t3 and so on, and I can formulate the vector So what does this mean? This xt1, xt2 and so on up to this xtn, they are all the random variables obtained from the random process, tapped across the process at what? t1, t2, t3, t4 and so on up to what? tn. Got it? So now this will, individually if I say that it is Gaussian, it is fine. They can combinedly what? Gaussian also. We know that multivariate Gaussian density function. If this vector x happens to be Gaussian, multivariate Gaussian density function, again it is what we call it as Gaussian noise. But will it be the white? How to identify whether it is white or not? It is Gaussian. The moment if x is Gaussian distributed, it is Gaussian. But how to check which property gives you that noise is white? I hope you are getting this point, right? We have, this is jointly what? The Gaussian distributed. So the Gaussian density function, multivariate Gaussian density function is described by two parameters. One is what? One is the mean vector, the another one is covariance matrix. Isn't it? So we know what it is. Mu x is the mean vector, which is basically function of x, and we have the covariance matrix Cx, that is expectation of x minus mu x into what? X minus, this is the column, this is row here, and this is that Cx, expectation of x minus mu x into x minus mu x the whole transpose, right? And what are the diagonal elements in this, or what are the elements you get in this? If you expand it, what is that you get? This point you get as x1 minus mu x the whole square. Let us assume, right, your x is having only 3 terms, right? So expectation of xt1 minus mu xt1, got it? The whole square. And here you get expectation of xt2 minus mu xt2 the whole square, and expectation of xt3 minus mu xt3 the whole square. And I am considering only 3, right, for the vector with 3 elements, right? So what is that element you get here? This is x, and here it is xt1 minus mu xt1 into xt3 minus mu xt3 here, and this is the place of xt2 into xt1, and here it is xt3 and here this is x t2 So you are getting what exactly the covariance matrix elements are consisting of. They are just the expectation of the corresponding, right, the random variables obtained from the random process, right. So if they are jointly Gaussian, we get some mean vector mu. It can be even 0 also. If it is 0, it is called, right, zero mean Gaussian noise, isn't it? So but we can have other mean also, that is fine. But how to confirm that it is white? That is the question. Coming back to that original question. How to confirm that it is white? That is confirmed by this covariance matrix. We know that these autocorrelation values are what? Impulse. Right? Here, what is this gives you? Right? If you assume that it is the mean is 0, for example, let us assume for understanding, then coming back to the generalization also. If mean is 0, what this is giving you? Expectation of what? xt1, xt1, which is nothing but rxt1 of 0. And here we get what? Rxt of 0. Here rxt3 of 0. But these points, it is going to be the different time instant. One is at what? You understood what I am telling? This is giving you Rx of 0, and this is giving you Rx of 0, and this is also giving you Rx of 0, because the same time instant is being used, right? xt1, 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 xt2, xt2, then xt3, xt3, right? But when it comes to this point 1, 2, this element here, you are using what? Expectation of xt1, xt2, which is what? Rx of t1 minus t2. Based on that basic definition, this Rx of t1 minus t2 is going to be what? 0. Understood? Right? If t1 is not equal to t2, Rx of t1 minus t2 is 0. That is what we say, that it is impulse. If you want to say this autocorrelation is impulse, except at what? Rx of 0, except at t equal to 0. For all other values of t, Rx of t is going to be what? 0. So this is becoming 0. This is becoming 0, and this is 0 again, this is 0 again, this is 0 again, and this is 0 again. What it really mean by that is, it is a diagonal matrix. If the matrix is the covariance matrix, if that is 0, we say that the noise is white. Of course, we have assumed that the mean of the noise is what? 0 in this case, right? Even then, we can say that this is actually giving you the correlation between what? Two random variables, xt1 and xt2. This is giving you the correlation between xt1 with itself. But this is the correlation. I can say that it is in fact with the same random process, two different time instant we are using. In fact, to be from the definition of a random process, it is the autocorrelation only, right? But if you think in that random variable point of view, xt1 is one random variable, xt2 is another random variable. We are doing what? Correlation between these two random variables, right? That you have to interpret, you have to see, it is a random variable basically. xt1, xt2 are the random variables obtained from the random process. It is like two random variables, x and y. Expectation of xy minus expectation of x into expectation of y. That is what exactly we are doing. We have not done normalization divided by, we do this normalization to make it as 1, the range between, which we call it as correlation. This is covariance matrix. If I want to have a correlation matrix, we can make it as what? The normalization. If you make all the diagonal elements as what? 1. Right? If you divide everything with the corresponding variances, the matrix what we get it is what? Correlation matrix. There is a small difference between these two, right? The correlation matrix, and this is what we call it as covariance matrix. Correlation matrix means what? You divide this one with what? Sigma x1 square. And here you divide this one with sigma x1, sigma x2. x1 means xt1. And here we divide this one with what? This one with sigma xt1, sigma xt2. And here it is sigma xt1, sigma xt3. And here you divide with what? Sigma xt2 square. And here you divide this one with sigma xt3 square. Means you will make elements what? 1, and proportionally all other values you get is what we call it as correlation matrix. It's just a proportional thing only, but this is the covariance matrix. Without normalization is what we call it as covariance matrix. And remember that the density function is actually using the covariance matrix, not the correlation matrix. Correlation matrix is for our interpretation. If I keep the variances of the individual random variable xt1, xt2 and xt3, they are identical. That is a proper way of comparison, right? We are keeping that variance of xt1 and xt2 and xt3, they are identical. How far this t1 and t2 are correlated? How far the t2 and t3 are correlated? That may gives you proper understanding, right? That is what we go for, correlation matrix only for the statistical study, right? That is there. But your Gaussian density function is actually using covariance matrix. Don't get confused, right? This is what covariance matrix is. And we say that noise is white if this covariance matrix is what? Diagonal. Why I am telling this one is, we can convert the colored noise into white. Means suppose that if I have a noise, if it is colored noise but it is Gaussian. Colored noise means you get some covariance matrix. We can convert them into what? White noise is what we call it as pre-whitening filter in telecommunication. We use this pre-whitening filter before matched filter, before Wiener filter, right? See, this pre-whitening filter is needed to convert that noise, white noise, right? Noise as what? White. You understood? Irrespective of whatever the density function it is, it doesn't mean that we can convert that noise only, that Gaussian white noise, Gaussian colored noise to what? Gaussian white noise. It is not like that. Don't get confused with the density function and the white. They are different. Even the noise is not Gaussian, we can convert that noise into white. It is possible, right? You understood? The moment you make the covariance matrix diagonal, you are actually making that noise as white. That's all. But Gaussian is different. What is that multivariate Gaussian density function? If the random variables obtained from the random process, right? xt1, xt2, xt3. If this follows the jointly Gaussian density function, we call that as what? The Gaussian noise. You understood? Gaussian noise is different white noise is different. I am talking about converting the colored noise to white noise. If you are given this vector which is not diagonal, I mean that corresponding covariance matrix is not diagonal, I can convert this one back to what? The another random process. Remember that I am getting yt1, yt2, yt3, they are all the random variables obtained from the random process yt at time instant t1, t2, t3 such that the covariance matrix of this cy is diagonal. Here cx is not diagonal. Means what? I can convert colored noise. These are all the random variables obtained from the noise tapped across the process at T1, T2, T3 which is colored. I can convert into what? White if it is diagonal. As simple as that. We know how to do that. It is just the change of random variable. Right? What is the change of random variable? You know that, right? Y equal to ax plus b, that is that transformation we need, isn't it? So we have a relationship cy is what? A cx A transpose. You can find out any A matrix, not necessarily only the eigenmatrix, right? We discussed in generation of multivariate Gaussian, right, data. In that we identified this matrix A is the eigenmatrix, that is fine, but you can even find out the other matrix also, not necessarily only the eigen, but the requirement is after finding out this matrix A, right, your cy needs to become what? The diagonal, that's all. And you know the relationship also, y is what? A x plus b. B is not really necessary, B is actually converting that mean. Whatever the mean you want, that we can do it. If you want to make this mean as 0, right, then B is not needed. Y equal to Ax itself is an F, right. So that is the idea. This is what we call it as pre-whitening. In telecommunication, this is what we call it as pre-whitening, and what we are discussing here is in discrete form, right? I mean, we converted the random process, continuous random process, tapped across the process at that particular time instant, and we have arranged them in the form of what? The random vector. By the time when I convert them into the vector here, right, it is the discrete xt1, xt2, xt3 like that. It is a random vector and they are all the random variable. And the random variables are what? Continuous. xt1 take all the values from minus infinity to plus infinity. But I have only finite number of random variables collected from the random process. Right? It is just like a sampling. Just like what you do sampling in for the deterministic signal, we can do sampling for the random process also. I can sample it. I converted them into discrete. But the values, what it takes, just like what we discuss in discrete case, it takes the value from where? Minus infinity to plus infinity. xt1 can take the value from where? Minus infinity to plus infinity, and the distribution of xt1 is Gaussian. It is like that. I hope this is clear to you, right? Right? So now what I want to do now is the okay. So to summarize, because I just wanted to take the next topic actually, before that I just want to have a summary of whatever we have discussed, right. We started with what, right, so random variable, right, the outcome of the experiment, if it is mapped to that real line, we call that as a random variable. If it is mapped to the function of time, is what we call it as a random process, right? To analyze this random process, we tap across the process and we get a random variable out of it. And again we actually discuss about a class of random process, that is what we call it as Whiteson stationary process. The random process is said to be Whiteson stationary random process if it satisfies the two conditions. One is expectation of xt is constant and expectation of xt plus tau. Xt is the function of tau, Rx of tau. It is a function of the time difference, right, that we discussed. Suppose that if this random process is input to the linear system, what is that output random process is getting related with this input random process? We got a relationship relating the random variables obtained from the random process. That's very important, because the relationship is not for the random process. The relationship is actually relating the random variables obtained from the random process. That you have to be careful, because we cannot take expectation over a random process. That is very, very important, right? So we got the relationship yt is simply what? Integral minus infinity plus infinity h tau xt minus tau d tau. It looks like a convolution expression, but it is totally different from the deterministic. The way how we view that equation, you have to be careful. You cannot treat it as like the deterministic signal, right? So because I cannot take the Fourier transform and all in this. Okay, so we write in what sense you are saying they are identical. We are saying that it is in what? Mean square sense. I have written above the equal to that it is MSS, right? And then we got a relationship between the autocorrelation function of the input and the output. In fact, we got two expression. One is Ryx of tau is Rx of tau convolved with h of tau, that is one. The another one is Ryx of tau is Rx of tau convolved with h of tau convolved with h of minus tau, that is another one. These two are important. And we got the corresponding spectral density. The Fourier transformation of autocorrelation is giving you the spectral density. And the significance of spectral density we discussed. The area under the curve of the spectral density is actually giving you what? The average power. We understood why it is so. In fact, expectation of xt square, that is what you are getting. Indirectly, if you are assuming that the mean is 0, expectation of xt square is nothing but a variance, isn't it? So in that case, the power is simply the variance, if you assume that mean is 0. Otherwise, we need to have the second term also. But mostly that noise what we are considering is with mean 0. And hence, simply that your area under the spectral density itself will give you what? That's the average power, isn't it? And the special case, when that noise is white, your spectral density is flat and the corresponding autocorrelation is the impulse. We can convert that noise, the real noise whatever we have, it may not be white always. We can convert them into white just by doing a simple linear conversion, right? Y equal to ax plus b, linear transformation, right? So relating the two random vector, the random vector x, in which this random variables, in that random vectors, random vector x are obtained from the random process at the different time instant, t1, t2, t3 like that. And we get the random variable obtained from the random process yt at the time instant t1, t2, t3 and so on. They are related simply yt or y, let's put it as y equal to what? A x plus b, and the covariance matrix are directly related. Cy is equal to A Cx A transpose, as simple as that. If you are able to find out the matrix A, which gives you the covariance matrix Cy, you know now what is y, right? Y is the random variable obtained from the random process. If you are making that Cy as diagonal, then you are actually converting that noise into white. Because the reason is, most of the design, even a matched filter for example, or right, the Wiener filter for instance, we design with the assumption that the noise is white. We have a right equation. In case of discrete, the coefficients are ready, but in reality if the noise is not white, it will not work. So we need to convert them into white. We need a source. That is very important. And not only that, in case of model, we are going to discuss this in the coming classes, but modeling, that is very interesting point. I don't know whether you are aware of this or not. If you give white noise as an input to the system, we can actually construct the signal. That's very interesting, right? The input, you have a system, input is white noise, output is the signal, a specific signal like speech signal. You have to believe this, right? Input is just white noise, but the output is a signal. We can design the filter coefficient such that which acts on noise and gives you the signal. This is very, very important topic we are going to discuss in the coming classes, right? But intuitively we can understand, right? So the speech production, for example, it is like that. What is actually the source? It is a vibration and that air which is coming out of this mouth and nose. The source is just a noise. Noise, when it is passed through the proper filter, we are getting a proper signal, speech signal. This is the intuitive understanding of, yes, it is possible. Yes, that is the reason we are able to store this speech signal with what? Few coefficients. It is enough for me to store the filter coefficients of the vocal tract for a particular speech signal, for a particular sound of a speech signal, not the complete thing, right? Just sa, that's a sa, sha, like that. So just one sound of a speech signal, assuming that it is white sensation random process, that we can store, instead of storing it as a signal as it is, we just store what is that input noise variance and what is my filter coefficients. It is enough to store only the filter coefficients, 13 coefficients or 14 coefficients or 15 coefficients, FIR. Enough. Instead of storing the complete samples, imagine the number of samples per second is too heavy, 44,100 samples per second for good quality per second I am talking about. Now you see, of course this is for few milliseconds I am talking about, the modeling. Even then we get a drastic reduction in the way how we store the data. The speech signals are stored in that way. We are not actually storing the speech signal as it is. We are storing it as what is the input noise and what is that filter coefficient of the filter. If it is known, we can reconstruct. I am telling this one because we need the white noise to be generated also artificially with the required variance, right? So in fact the real noise we can convert them into white by using this pre-whitening filter. That is what I said, right? Converting that covariance matrix Cx to Cy with the covariance matrix Cy as what? The diagonal. If that is the case, this noise is converted into what? White, because most of the system you design with the assumption that the noise is white. So in reality if the noise is not white, then you can convert them into white and give to the system which you already designed, is what we call it as pre-whitening filter. Got it? So we will go for that next topic. Today I just give you only that initial introduction about that, and we will continue this one in that coming classes, right? Is about the baseband transmission, which we already started. So this is what we called as a random process, which is the baseband transmission model, right? This is in the transmitter section, and the pulse is in your hand. You can use any pulse, even a rectangular pulse is fine, right? We have the rectangular pulse like this, with some duration capital T and amplitude 1 here, and this is your P of t in this. And I hope this is clear to you, right? This the pulse is getting repeated, right, once in t, and it is getting multiplied with the outcome of the real experiment, that is AK, A1, A2, A3 and so on. They are the random variables that takes, you know, some outcomes. For simple case, you know, we can even think of plus A and minus A, 2 level. 4 levels is also possible, right? So this AK takes the values, and it can even be the complex, right? Like for instance, in case of QPSK, this AK is the discrete, right? It takes 4 values. They are 1 plus I, 1 minus I, minus 1 plus I, minus 1 minus I. This is basically QPSK. So depends upon the values what you can take, you know, that AK takes. We have different modulation techniques, and this expression is for the base band. I repeat, because we have a relationship between what? The base band and band pass transmission. I think I have discussed this one in this class, I mean the previous class. I just want to recollect that. There is a direct relationship, right? What is it? XT. XT is XTI cos 2 pi FCT. I think I have given that. So YT is XTI cos 2 pi FCT minus XTQ sin 2 pi FCT. This XTI and XTQ, they are all the baseband representation, and this band pass signal XT, they are related with this baseband with a direct relationship. They are the random process. This YT is a random process, XTI is a random process, XTQ is a random process, and more important is this FC is a carrier frequency, right? The idea is, if I know how this XTI behaves, if I know what is the autocorrelation of XTI, if I know what is the autocorrelation of XTQ, right, then it is very straightforward how this XT is behaving, right, to find out this autocorrelation of XT and the spectral density of XT. So in normal, in wireless communication, we analyze signal, right, with the baseband, because converting from baseband to band pass is the straightforward. Only that carrier frequency is going to be, you have to what? Choose. That's all. The Spain's spectral density is getting what? Shifted. We'll see how they are related. If I know the autocorrelation of this, the spectral density function of this XTI and XTQ, then I can find out what is my autocorrelation function of XT and the spectral density function of XT. It's very straightforward, right? So this one is there. I'm just motivating you, right? We normally analyze the baseband transmission, right? Theoretically, whatever the baseband we consider, even your OFDM, right, whatever the technique we use, right, so we analyze only that baseband transmission, right. So now here coming back to this original track, right, this is the problem here. XT is sigma k equal to minus infinity plus infinity AK P of t minus KT. The most important, the fundamental question is that XT wide and stationary? That is the question. We cannot say that it is, you know, wide and stationary, right? You can check. What is that you have to check? You have to find out what is my expectation of XT, and you have to check what is my expectation of XT plus tau XT. Is it coming as the function of tau alone, that you have to check. It is not going to be that function of tau alone. It is not Whiteson stationary random process. The moment when you conclude that it is not Whiteson stationary random process, we cannot take what? That Fourier transform, getting that spectral density, all the things are going to get stopped. So, but the interesting point here is, this is the signal what we are considering in the transmitter section. But in the receiver section, we have one more random variable associated with that, which is theta. Theta is not angle, it is the delay in time. I am using it as variable as theta, don't get confused. Theta is a delay. The random process what you transmit from the transmitter, it is reaching you the receiver with some delay, and this delay is not deterministic. This delay is what? The random. It is a random variable. Theta is random variable, and it is uniformly distributed. In fact, this theta can be some time duration, but I can write whatever the delay you get as what? Some constant times t plus the remaining. It is what I am calling it as a mod t, right? You understood what I am telling? Suppose that if t is 1, if I want to write 5.3, I can write as what? 5 plus 0.3. 5 times t plus this excess. You understood what I am telling? So, as far as this 5 times t is considered, that is not going to play the important role in making them as random. What is actually making them random is this 0.3. This is the actual delay, because it is just multiples of t, and you are tapping the signal, see, it is like you are getting like this. The receiver section, you are getting some delay, and you are having, this is a synchronization point, for example. You are having this delay, and after delay, I am getting it as what? The shifted thing. Like this, having some this delay, this theta, and this delay only I am telling, now this delay is multiples of t, plus some constant. If it is exactly multiples of t, you get the same shape, we can, after synchronization I am telling, after synchronization, we can get the same shape. But once that is fixed, see, we know we have a proper delay here, so let us say that delay is multiples of some hundreds or thousands of t plus this constant, remaining thing, that actually is going to be different from different outcomes. One time it is going to be 0.3 times t. You understood what I am telling? See, this theta is actually making the group of signals what you get in the receiver section as a random. You understood what I am telling? It gets shifted, and this theta is the random variable which is of uniformly distributed between what? 0 to t. That is what I want to tell. Even though the actual delay in reality, it is what? Some value, I am considering that as what? Some multiples of t plus some constant, and that constant is actually making them real random, and that theta is this theta, that multiples of t I am just not considering, because that is already there in this expression kt. If I have one more minus some constant time t, that this 2 will get what? Incorporated, because that limit is from where? Minus infinity to plus infinity. After changing that limit with a new variable, So that again becomes a new variable, right? It looks like what? P of t minus instead of kt, it is becoming what? Lt minus theta. So what I am telling? I repeat, what I am telling here is, in place of theta, you write it as what? Some constant time t. Let us say 100 times t plus theta, that is actual delay. That's what I am talking about, right? In place of this, right? 100 times capital T plus theta, right? This 100 I can put it here just by changing the limit. So this theta is actually having the range from where? 0 to t. So I repeat, this theta is uniformly distributed between 0 to t. It is that density function here, 0 to t here. So this should be 1 by t in this. This is the density function. Don't get confused with this. This is a pulse. This pulse is for the duration 0 to t, and amplitude is what? 1. But this one is the density function of theta. Theta is a random variable which is having what? The density function f of theta, which is of uniformly distributed between 0 to t. So if it is 0 to t, the amplitude is supposed to be what? 1 by t, because the area under the curve should end up with what? 1. Then only it is the valid density function. We are interested in finding out what is that autocorrelation, what is that spectral density for the random variable yt instead of xt. Now it is yt here in the receiver section, right? xt is in the transmitter section and yt is in the receiver section. After introducing this delay, forget about the band pass right now, I mean at this moment. We will come back to this relationship between baseband and band pass and all later on, but now as of now you have to understand that xt is the baseband transmission in the transmitter, yt is the corresponding signal in the receiver after delay. The interesting point is, I told you that xt is not Whiteson stationary random process, but this yt is Whiteson stationary random process, WSS. The randomness is coming because of this theta. Theta also, see here we already have one random variable, AKs. They are all the random variables, right? But we have one more additional to that, it is theta here. By adding this random variable theta, it is making, it is making this yt as Whiteson stationary random process. So I can find out autocorrelation, I can find out the spectral density for this yt. That's what we are going to discuss in that coming class, how to find out the autocorrelation and spectral density for this yt. Once you know that, so we are able to interpret one intuitive point I just want to tell, and then we will discuss in that next class in detail. This Ry of tau is that autocorrelation. Intuitively we understand that it depends upon this random process, AK. I am saying that it is a random process, right? AKs are random variable, no doubt in it. I am viewing that AKs are the random process obtained from, the random variables, right? From where? Minus infinity to plus infinity is what we call it as discrete random process. The outcome of the experiment I told, right? It is a function of time, that's fine. The output of the function of time, it can be continuous, it can be what? The discrete also. The outcome of the experiment is mapped to the function of time with what? Discrete points. Yes, right? So in that case what will happen? You have the outcomes like this. You understood what I am telling? So you can even have the outcomes like this, right? And here So this is my A0, A1, A2, A3, A4 and so on. I hope now you are getting, and I have not drawn A minus 1, A minus 2 and so on. Is there actually from minus infinity to plus infinity? Across the process is this. It's a random variable. AK is a random variable, no doubt in it. But I can view this AK as what? The random process, discrete random process, is outcome from the random process. It's a sequence. In fact, this AK is, I have randomly given some amplitude, but it can be a simple having what? Two outcomes like A and minus A. This one I have not drawn in that way. Here I have given some values, right? But it is a random variable, that's all. It is a random variable obtained at the different time instant. I can view it as a random process. I am telling this one because intuitively we understand the autocorrelation function of this Y depends on the autocorrelation function of A. This A case, right, it is the Whiteson stationary random process. We get this R A of K. It's a discrete, right, autocorrelation for A case. It depends on two things. One is the autocorrelation function of this A, and we have this pulse. What do you say about this pulse? Pulse is deterministic. There is nothing to do with what? Random. P of t is fixed here. It is the deterministic signal. So it depends on the Fourier transformation of the pulse. I am just giving you the idea. Your Ry of tau depends on two things. One is Ra of k, which is basically, which is nothing but expectation of this is what the definition, right? Expectation of an plus k, an. It's is assumed as Whiteson stationary random process. Don't ask me to prove it because this is the assumption. AKs are assumed as Whiteson stationary random process. This is WSS. AKs are WSS. With that assumption, we are able to find out what is that Ra of k. And your P of t is deterministic. So you have the Fourier transform P of f, I have written there. The point what I want to convey is this Ry of tau depends upon these two factors, P of t and Ra of k. In fact, Sy of f depends on P of f and Sa of f. This is what I want to tell. Where P of f is the Fourier transformation of P of t. It is a deterministic, so I can take Fourier transform. Sa of f is the spectral density of the autocorrelation Ra of k. In fact, I have written f, and remember that it is discrete. Okay, so these are all understood. When you have understood that we are actually taking dt of t, discrete time Fourier transform, and this f takes the values between what? 0 to fs or minus fs by 2 to plus fs by 2. That's the way it is defined. So that's all very important. You have to understand that. Even though I am writing it as f, it is actually dt of t, not normal Fourier transform, right? But P of t is a continuous signal. I can take Fourier transform. It is P of f, right? So your Sy of f depends on two things. One is Sa of f and P of f. How they are related? That's what we are going to discuss in the coming class. We'll stop here. Okay, right.